The Science Weekly, an industry pundit podcast about the tech and innovation of the 21st century. An open discussion between industry experts to uncover how emerging technologies can help solve current societal issues.
Welcome, Konstantinos. We have Konstantinos Loizou from MBO Diagnostics with us today. Before you started MBO, can you please elaborate a bit on your story as a young guy who came back and you were trying to create MBO?
It's not about starting in the beginning, it's about understanding what you need to do. When you are, I came to Cyprus when I was 28 years old. I spent 8 years in Crete, in Chania, knowing everybody. I knew the full ecosystem, I knew everybody there. And I come back, I bring people from there because I knew the talent that I found was amazing. I couldn't find anything. So I had my co-founder Adonis with me. And we wanted to build something, and I come to Cyprus and I realized I know nobody. Because I was left alone for a couple of years, and the situation here changed a lot. And I was a 28-year-old guy coming to Cyprus, starting as a mechanic, as an engineer, wanted to build something, and I realized that we need to learn financials. The biggest problem that you start in the beginning is that you start with your roles, start as a company, but of friends, not as a corporation, and you realize that you have to start acting as a corporation. You have to be taking care of your accounting, you have to take care of your numbers, and the biggest issue that you need to address immediately is to actually be able to know your numbers. So starting out in 2016, it was very important for us to understand our roles. It took us a couple of years to understand our role, to be honest, and that was a core issue. When we started collaborating with Kinesis Ventures and Chrysalis Leap, that helped us a lot by having the training there. And it was actually a tipping point for us to realize that we need to start acting as a company. And when we started acting as a company, things started to flow. So if there was one thing I will ask anybody who starts, it would be know your numbers. Came back to Cyprus 2016 in order to build a biotech company. And starting with MBO, we wanted to build products that would be useful for people and are going to be able to solve solutions. That was our core achievement in the beginning, and that's our core goal going forward. We wanted to build portable, innovative, and digital solutions in order to address quick detections. And we've seen various applications over these years on this.
And how did you start all this?
We started by creating a very talented team. We found some of the best engineers we met in the university. We wanted to tackle a solution related with food safety. We started by starting to understand what makes a product of good quality. And eventually we realized the various components that come into cross in creating a very good product that will arrive in your table, the pesticides, the food pathogens, the food quality, the whole supply chain. And by understanding the supply chain, we wanted to find a way to tackle the problems. The problems that we tackled were related with the food quality and especially the detections. We saw the gaps there and we wanted to address it.
That's beautiful.
We started with a big problem, and that is getting bigger every day. So it's very important to see the whole development. And for us, because when you start a small company, you have to pivot a lot, and that's essential once you want to build a long-standing company.
It's very unique and hard and interesting what you're doing, because I think biotech is pretty new in Cyprus, the whole industry, and I think there's not more than a handful of companies that are currently active here, and you managed to raise you're valued above 5 million euros recently, and you was one of the FoodTech 500 companies in 2020. It's not easy what you're doing, especially from here. As a scale up now, what difficulties do you face here locally?
Starting with a company, especially in the biotech sector, you need to start understanding your product. The core problem, we faced it, and every small company faced it in the beginning, is that you don't understand your client. That's one of the biggest mistakes. And we created something that we thought it would be useful for the market, but eventually we realized that we didn't read the market quite well. So in order to move from startup to a scale up, you need to first understand your client. And once we understood the necessity and the problems that we are going to solve with our products, that was the easy part afterwards. The difficult part is to get the understanding from your clients. The beginning always starts with technology, but eventually what you need to do to scale up and to leave the startup mentality is to be quite easy to adopt. What I mean, allow me to give an example. Once you start for a client, let's say we want our first initial clients were supermarkets and big food supply chains. What they've done is that we realized that we've built a device that can help them to some problems, but it doesn't allow them to have a faster process. So we had to redesign it in order to be able to fit right on their processes. And think of your client, how they start their day. You want to make their lives easier. That's the core part of your product. Once you understand this and you master it and you apply it in all your future products, all of this knowledge, then your products are going to allow you to become a scale-up. So it's essential, especially in the biotech sector, which requires a lot of initial investment to build something, to understand that you are solving a real solution.
And which is your primary market now?
Primary market is related with health applications, environmental applications, and food safety. I told you three things. The main drive of revenue right now comes from health care application due to COVID, which allowed us to showcase the digital detections and the applicability of our technology, both in air monitoring and patient monitoring. It allows us to make certification for our company in order to be able to run clinical trials and to build something as a certified medical device manufacturer. But our core innovation stays the same: innovative, digital, and portable solutions.
Oh, and how is the structure here legally? Is it supportive, or the schemes for a biotech company?
When you start and you decide to start in Cyprus, you make a big leap of faith. You come into a market that lacks a lot of the basics of requirements of biotech. However, you come on a market that is very fast improving, because we came in 2016, it was playing in a dead field, and we're now in 2022, and you see many excellent centers, you see funding coming from core organizations, you see a rapidly evolving ecosystem, which is a benefit. The biggest obstacle right now is to have points of answers and quick responses related with regulations. That's where we lack. Hopefully that these things will be improved, especially now that there are various opportunities with the new medical device regulations. But we're talking about very complex things that we lack knowledge. However, because Cyprus is a small place, you can easily organize things, which is a big benefit that you couldn't do in another country. So we have to step up on this startup mentality that we can do things fast and we can invest in this thing, that we can be fast. If the regulators adjust and help us to understand, then we will have a competitive advantage against Europe. And you will have a good reason starting about a company in Cyprus.
Do they engage with you?
You have to engage with them.
Okay.
The problem is not engaging with them, is that finding faster routes. And faster routes means faster responses, easier to adopt, be able to adjust and learn new things. That because the regulations change all the time, and it's a huge investment that you need to follow. Again, we are very slow in the regulator perspective. We need to invest in this. As governmental, they need to invest on this and make it more innovative, because I'm telling you again, we can get a competitive advantage due to our size, applicability of this situation. You can get to attract a lot of talent, companies, and new ideas, and run studies and pilots and regulations here.
Great. You started, of course, you had R&D, and then you're testing, and then you had to test different business models. I'm asking for other entrepreneurs to know, how long did it take you to actually find your formula let's say, of running your business or your strategy?
I started running the business from the beginning with a formula. However, it wasn't the correct formula. I had to adapt to be able to have month by month. We make a huge investment in yourselves in the beginning because you get nothing. And that's the biggest investment you do. And finally, you need to see this investment paying off. And for this investment to start paying off, it requires a good infrastructure for your pony financially, because you will see a lot of costs coming up that you didn't expect. So the core thing to do is to know the market that you're going and know the numbers that are required. It's the only way that you will attract investment, and it's the only way that you will be able to build your company.
Was there any competition when you started in Cyprus? Local competition?
The only reason that I am going to answer you that there was no competition is because we didn't know what we exactly were doing, so we didn't know which will be the competition. Of course, there is always the competition. For us, the competition comes from outside Cyprus, and it is implemented by people in Cyprus. So you see labs that are using imported tech to do COVID tests, imported tech to do various types of tests. We wanted to develop the technology here. So for us, the competition is for the imported stuff to get a piece of this huge market that other ones is buying, to offer them our solutions. So the competition is there. You need to understand it from the beginning. For us, it wasn't there because we had a poor understanding of what we're doing. Currently, we know the competitors' names. We know how to structure them. We know what is our competitive advantage. And our competitive advantage is the speed that we're acting, the portability, and the value that we offer in a very low investment cost in the beginning. So the products that we offer compared with products that have 10 times more price tag, because we do something very selective and unique and portable and digital. As we said, the three core components from the beginning.
So what's next for Embio?
Expansion, sales. We grew up our team. We are renovating our offices, building 3 new laboratories. I'm looking forward to invite you to join us in a couple of months into the new facility. The collaboration with Aspis, it's a huge opportunity to expand our selling network. We've already seen it, the interest, the investment, the talent that you get abroad. You see production from Belt that comes from, you have the mass production will be ready by the end of this month. You will have the first fully mass production device, which looks amazing. It's amazing for us to see how it can be applied. And now we know the process, we follow up with new applications, our Airbird applications. And right now we're targeted into B2B, but I look very forward to actually starting implementing in B2C solutions. So what's next? It's expansion, sales, and building up the network.
That's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And again, it's a great opportunity to be here, and hopefully we can see peace in our world back.
Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Science, former RISE, the Research Centre of Excellence in Cyprus, focusing on interactive media, smart systems, and emerging technologies. For more information, please check our website on science.org.cy.